Hi everyone, it's me, Crafty Witch, and welcome back to my channel. So, this is my charm casting kit that I put together this weekend. It is nowhere near being complete, but I got a lot of funky little things in here, and I thought I would just show them to you guys. I'll dump them out here. And this is my little witch's brew bowl. It's like a little cauldron bowl. I love it. Got it from Hallmark Cards, like, oh my gosh, probably about 20 years ago. Excuse me. I had a cold, not a cold, it was a lung infection about 3-4 weeks ago, and I was super sick for a solid week and a half, and then this past week and a half I still have this like really dry cough. It's insane. So if I happen to be coughing here and there, please forgive me. So I was looking on these videos on YouTube with charm casting, and I'd never heard of it before. Now I've heard of throwing the bones, and that's a practice that is very ancient and it spans the globe. Various cultures do it, and then this charm casting is like the modern day equivalent. So instead of like bones, it's like little knickknacks you might have. Like here I've got a little tiny angel, I've got an obsidian arrowhead, I've got happy Buddha with his hands up in the air and he's laughing and smiling, having a great time. So it's just like random things, and you assign like a meaning to it. So I thought I would show you mine, and I put this together this weekend. It's been a lot of fun. There's still things I want to add to it. For instance, I want to add, I don't know if I already did, I found a key that I want to add to it. I want to get a skeleton key actually and add that, but in the meantime, let's just carry on. So this little statue represents happiness. It's the Buddha dude. He's got his hands up in the air and he's happy as hell. So that represents happiness. I love Yoda, and I adore Baby Yoda, like big time. I don't have Baby Yoda, but I found this. This is my son's Yoda. I kind of swiped it from him, and it was in a box in our storage for like the past 3 years. He wasn't using it. I'm using it. So what does Yoda represent? Well, wisdom and defense. He's got his little lightsaber here. He's a good dude. Good he is. And this is Kiva, and she has been after my charms since I started putting them together. I've got a purple elastic band, and this represents springing back, bouncing back, resilience, and because it's purple, it could also symbolize like somebody that's been going through a rough time spiritually, and maybe they went through a grieving process and they're kind of just bouncing back. So that's what that represents. This flower represents a gift of some sort. I've got a couple rings in here. This is one. There's another one somewhere. If I can find it. Oh no. There it is. So I got a couple rings in here. One's the little moonstone ring, and this little ring here. So they represent commitment, contracts. Could represent marriage. Here's one auger shell. This represents a male. This represents a female. This represents a little, this is a little tiny dude And he's like, I don't know if that's gonna focus, but he's golfing. So this is like a grandpa type dude, maybe an uncle. It's an older gentleman. This is a little charm of a girl or a lady. She's got a suitcase with her. She's walking away. So that literally represents leaving a situation, maybe leaving a relationship, walking away, moving on. Here's another ring. This was from my deceased auntie, and this represents connection to your female ancestors and the teachings that they have given you. Here is a black obsidian arrowhead. This represents protection. It also could represent, depending on what direction it's pointing, maybe negative energy coming from certain directions. It's just kind of warning you. I've got some wooden runes here, another wooden rune set. This is made out of a tree branch. I've got some Scrabble tiles. So if initials show up, they might be significant in a reading. So that's what that's all about. There's a triquetra there. This represents the feminine aspect of divinity, the maiden, mother, and crone. There's a little tiny triskel. Has a very similar meaning to the other one. This is my little skull and crossbones. I'm not sure if you can see it very well. No, that won't work either. But that represents death, the ending of something. This is a little guardian angel, pin with my birthstone in it. My stepmom gave this to me. So this represents angelic protection. This A represents action. You're being called to step up to the plate. This is a Harry Potter coin that my son gave to me. It's got a unicorn on the one side, so it represents, and I've got a unicorn in here, right here. So this is a unicorn, and it's carved out of stone. It's pretty cool. Oh no, just hang on, my phone is dying. Let me plug it in here. There we go. So unicorns represent magic, miracles, happiness, faith. I've got some dice. The numbers could represent time, like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, that kind of thing. What else? I got a couple moons in here. Actually, I think I've got more than a couple. I've got 3 different moons, and they each have their own little meaning. I've got a little angel, again representing the angelic. These are like, I don't know what these are. They're kind of like these little charms, or they look like little clock faces. So this represents time. We got a clear quartz crystal, so being able to see clearly. What is this? I got, this is from my mom or dad. Don't know if it's gonna focus. but it's the praying hands pin, and it's about not losing faith. Maintaining your faith. This represents an eagle feather. It's actually an earring. I lost the other half to it, so I decided to use this half. This represents protection. This particular earring, it's another beaded earring with like a little tiny eagle feather there. There's a white and blue chevron on the front, and that represents protection, healing, especially when it comes to your life force, your vitality, which is symbolized by the red. Paper clip, and that represents work. The number 19. These are like little tiny miniature golf tees. Here's a little tiny miniature golf ball. Could represent sports, somebody that likes to be active and involved in sports and outdoor activities. Here's a little button. I think I've got another one over here. One's white, one's black. It represents duality, decisions, choices. Hey, Kiva. Here's a little feather, a little metal feather. That represents travel and rising above situations. This is an old part of an old earring I had. Represents the 4 directions. This is some kind of brooch. And it's got a crown on it and a coat of arms. And this represents your personal sovereignty. Here's a dog. It represents friendship and loyalty. Cute little dog. I've got a couple elephants here. Little jade elephants. So this one, he's got his little trunk up in the air, so he represents good fortune and happiness. And this one also has his trunk in the air. He's playing with a ball as well. So this one is representing good fortune, but a very light-hearted, playful approach. Amethyst, representing your spiritual side. It could also represent psychic abilities, development. I've got some runes. I've got a tiger's eye for protection. I've got an Egyptian scarab made out of clay. What else? I got another little geode here. So it represents not judging a book by its cover. Things aren't always as they seem. True beauty is on the inside. Taking a closer look at things. I've got a little tiny old-fashioned telephone here. This represents communication. This cross represents, it could represent spirituality, but it could also represent burdens. You know, when you have a cross to bear on your shoulders. There's Kiva's little paws. This represents a cage that you might feel that you're caged up, jailed, that kind of thing. I've got a pentacle here. This represents the 4 elements, protection. This is an old necklace that was given to me. This represents the chakras. It's actually supposed to be a chakra necklace. So if this shows up in a reading, depending on how it's landing, it might need that they need to, you know, clear their chakras. This is a little gold bracelet. This represents a gift, a union, happiness, prosperity, wealth, abundance. This little wreath with the, I believe it's a garnet in it, represents success, abundance. This red tile could represent vitality or anger. It kind of looks orange on my phone. You know, when somebody's seeing red. Purple could represent spiritual growth. The star. This represents success. This little ladybug, my son made this years ago when he was a little kid. My son Dalton. And the little ladybug is smiling. It's a boy ladybug, he told me. But this represents good luck. Here is another rune. I've got a 3-leaf clover because I couldn't find a 4-leaf one. But this one's smiling. Represents good luck. There's some more dice. What else do we have here? We've got a Saint Joseph medal here. Excuse me. So Saint Joseph is the patron to fathers and carpenters. So this could represent like a father figure. This little tiny sombrero represents like a fiesta, like a party, good times, a celebration, a gathering with friends and family. Something to celebrate. There's all kinds of stuff in here. This is a tiny locket. Oh my gosh, it's so old. This belonged to my grandmother, and then there's like a little tiny purple velvet interior. Don't know if that's going to show up proper or not. Yeah, so there was a little tiny miniature comb that fit inside there, but I don't know where that went. So this represents keeping something near and dear to your heart, keeping something close to your heart, safe. What else do we have? We've got a Let's Conjure pin. I don't know if that's gonna show up or not. Oh dear, look at the glare. So this could represent occult knowledge. It could also represent education, going to school, studying, books, that kind of thing. I've got a hummingbird that represents healing. It could also represent love, long distance travel. My cat Chancy is snoring. She's over on this side. Kiva's over on that side. This is a little tiny moonstone. Represents the moon. I need to get a sun symbol. A little tiny bag of golf clubs. Again, sports. Here is a rose quartz point. This represents love, friendship, self-love, self-care. We've got some shells. We've got 3 of these shells. I believe these are scallop shells. I could be wrong, but I use them for yes or no answers. I talked about these shells in my other video, so I won't touch base here. Another clear quartz. Here is a clear quartz pyramid. So this is like being focused, focusing your energy, focusing your mind. I'm looking for a skeleton key. This is a mailbox key. But, so it's good for unlocking things, opening doorways, new opportunities. It could also represent getting good news and through the mail. I've got some dice here, little tiny dice. What else do I have? I've got a coffin nail here for protection, for warning you of negative energies, defensive magic. Here's a safety pin for keeping things together. I've got a dime, Canadian dime, and a coin from Jamaica. This represents cash, currency. It could also represent, the dime itself can represent messages from the other side, from loved ones. What else do we got here? Got the red star. This is kind of like ambition, but like somebody who's willing to step on anybody to succeed. We've got another little Buddha. So abundance and wealth and happiness. What else? Got another little auger shell, protection, male energy. We've got this little rectangular shell, cash. We've got this little button that's sewn onto this really old piece of leather. I don't know if you can see that very well. And this symbolizes not being able to let go of things. And then we've got this little charm here. It's a maple leaf. This one represents fairness, equality, diplomacy, kindness. Yeah, so, oh, and then we got a penny. This is an old penny from, what year is this? Well, not that, well, kind of old. This is from 1979. So, it'll depend on which way it falls, how I would interpret that. So yeah, and the rest are just some runes and Scrabble tiles. So that is my little collection of trinkets. There's still more that I want to add to it. But yeah, and then how I would do the reading, I'll show you guys in just 1 second here. So I put everything in the bowl like this, kind of stir it around. And then, you know, I would throw them like that and then just divine what that would, you know, symbolize. So we've got, and certain things that are face down, I'll just remove those. I'll remove these. So yeah, I would just divine what that would mean. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see the pictures that I posted of the 2 sets that I created. It's a nice change, like when you use runes all the time, or tarot cards or oracle cards. Doing something like this, I thought it was a nice change. It was something different. It was something new. And I just found it to be a lot of fun. And like a lot of things you can just find laying around your house. So what else? Where else did I go? Yeah, so the things, I found a lot of stuff laying around the house. I found, I also went out to 2 thrift stores and got some stuff there. And then a friend of mine has given me a key charm as well. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how big or small, or if it's a skeleton key, or I have no clue. but she's got some kind of key that she wants to give me to add to my collection. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's just like gather together little things, assign a meaning to them that resonates with you, and you can use that to do readings. So anyway, that's it for now. Ciao.